So we should tell you, and as we said at the top, this is the only hour on American television that is not broadcasting unfiltered propaganda into the homes of unsuspecting viewers. On the screen, you see 8 boxes. Those are 8 different TV channels taking the Nancy Pelosi feed unfiltered. Now, if at any time in your life you've ever made fun of totalitarian regimes that, broadcast lies into the homes of the population that they can't turn off, take a look at that. That's happening right now. Meanwhile, gas is over $5. Inflation is higher than it's been in the lifetime of most Americans. Violent crime is making cities impossible to live in, and more than 100,000 Americans OD'd on drugs last year. Why isn't there a primetime hearing about any of that?
Good Friday, everyone. Jazz Borgonzo here. Another What's Next, your daily dose. Well. Did anyone happen to see something on last night? I don't know what it was. I know there were people who were cutting their grass, painting their houses, doing their hair, washing laundry, going to the bathroom because they were constipated. But speaking of constipation, the January 6th committee hearings were on prime time last night. Yes. The legacy media, which is dying a very, very quick death, has decided to get along, and push all their chips to the middle of the table with this January 6th, quote-unquote, insurrection, which was nothing more than a small little riot of breaking and entering. But that's not like facts get in the way of feelings. I didn't see it. Thank God I didn't see it. Every time we were watching something, me and my wife last night, we would change it. There it was. Change another channel. There it was. Change another channel. There it was. And so on, and so on, and so on. But I'm going to cover it nonetheless because I'm just going to go with the lowlights. There's nothing really highlights about this. Here we go. This comes out of Breitbart. January 6th committee hearing, live wire. Democrats push all in on Capitol riot probe. Excuse me. And of course, there is Liz Cheney, clown, and of course, Rhino and token Republican on this committee hearing board. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, get ready for the main event. Step right up, get your tickets for the greatest show on earth. Democrats have decided to bet their entire political future on a few hours of primetime televised hearing for January 6th Select Committee to present its quote-unquote findings last night. The party makes its move towards the end game for the first of several hearings. Yes, this is not just a one and done, folks. God, this just goes on. It is notable, first and foremost, that Democrats have picked primetime television for the first hearing of a year-long investigation, and expectations are extremely high for them to actually produce new or compelling evidence to push their case. Secondly, it's also worth noting that this committee is unprecedented partisan. Even though 2 members who claimed to be Republicans, one, Liz Cheney, clown, and Adam Kinzinger. Yes, of course, the last time we saw Adam Kinzinger, he was crying because of January 6th. Are members of the committee. They got their appointments from, of course, Democratic House Speaker Bela Lugosi. That came after Pelosi engaged in the never-before-seen step of removing 2 of the 5 Republicans that House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy had named to the panel. The other 3 stepped aside, to protest the clown show. No matter what anyone in the establishment media or political class says, this is nothing more than a partisan smear job, a witch hunt, a dumpster fire. The panel is chaired by Democratic Republican, really? Yeah, you could say that. Democrat Representative Benny Thompson, of course, who compares slavery to January 6th. who just won his primary in Mississippi earlier this week and featured several top Democratic superstars like James Raskin, never heard of him, Adam Schiff, yes, you know nothing, Adam, always full of Schiff, Pete Aguilar, Zoe Lovegren, Elaine Luria, and Stephanie Murphy. I know most of them you didn't even hear of. I'm sure Stephanie Murphy, yeah, you may not have a job come November. The use of taxpayer dollars, more than 8 million of them per estimates from House Administration Committee Republicans, as Breitbart reported earlier on Thursday, for the committee will be surely questioned in the months and years to come, depending on what the committee puts forward in the primetime event. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, it seems that the last best hope for Democrats in Congress ahead of the brewing red tsunami that is coming in November, even though the New York Times admitted in a headline earlier this week that their hearing and future ones of the committee offer Democrats a chance to, quote, recast their midterm message, which is currently mired in failure on the literal every single issue. If they don't deliver on big time on Thursday night, expect their last hopes of retaining a minority or either both chambers of Congress after November midterms elections to fade significantly and quickly. That's in large part while the actual House Republicans, not Cheney, Kinzinger, who really don't count anymore, have planned a massive counteroffensive in the messaging wars. Their actual House Republicans have been successful at this in the past, as evidenced by both former President Donald Trump's impeachments, and any shortcoming from the Democratic panel on Thursday night is surely going to backfire significantly on the party promoting this expensive taxpayer-funded production.
January 6th,
now we go
and has been learning a lot from it. He joins us now. Jason, thanks so much for coming on. So there's a lot going on in this country. They've decided, with the collusion of the news media, to command our attention in prime time tonight on this issue. Why?
Because the Democrats and the left are desperate. Tucker, I loved your monologue, but it just makes me sad. As a man, I feel like I have failed and we have failed. We're leaving this next generation a country and a culture that has no respect for truth. This whole thing is a charade and a lie. You spelled it out very articulately and accurately. There's no respect for truth. There was no insurrection. There was a riot, a small one, that got a little bit out of hand. But to see these people thrown in dungeons and locked up and treated like they're the worst human beings on the planet, it's a joke. It's a joke. And particularly to see this charade tonight, when we have Brett Kavanaugh, a Supreme Court justice, and his family being terrorized at their home, and we're not talking about that, a Supreme Court justice and his home and his neighborhood being violated the way that it has been with the approval of Jen Psaki and basically the administration, this is a joke, but it speaks to the desperation of the Democrats and the left. They have no policy. They have no solutions. They have no results to stand on. And so they just want to tap into fear and emotion and continue with the false narratives. This thing tonight, this TV show, Fear Factor, that they're putting on tonight, reminds me of the guy that's running against Rand Paul and him doing a TV commercial with a noose around his neck. They're just promoting fear.
Well, it's interesting you said that, because Benny Thompson, who's the chairman of this committee, just gave an opening statement, and I want to play you a 20-second clip from what he just said and get your reaction to it. Speaking of fear, here he is.
I'm from a part of the country where people justify the actions of slavery, the Ku Klux Klan, and lynching. I'm reminded of that dark history as I hear voices today try and justify the actions of the insurrectionists on January 6, 2021.
So, why is Benny Thompson invoking the memory of slavery as we talk about a dispute over the last election?
Tucker, I live in the South right now. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I've lived in Rock Hill, South Carolina previously. Again, I don't know what part of the South Benny's from, but I just haven't I've not been involved with people trying to justify slavery in my lifetime. I just haven't experienced that. And so, again, it's slander. It's slander of the United States. It's slander of a group of people. It is fear. Hey, we have no policies, but hey, we're not racist, even though we really are racist. And so keep us in power because this other group of people are all out to get you, and they're going to lynch you, and they're going to put you back in slavery. There's no truth to it. We're living in a time where in the history of America, maybe in the history of the planet, this much hostility to the truth is going to be lethal to not just America, but because of America's place as the leader of this planet, this is dangerous for the entire planet for us to be this hostile to truth.
I think that's a really smart and scary point to make. Jason Whitlock, thank you.
Now, I could go on a little bit further, but unfortunately, I'm sure half of you already fell asleep. The clown show, the CLUSTERFU, the nonsensical garbage that is the January 6th committee hearing, I'm sure. But everybody and their mother was covering it on the legacy media except Fox News. Kind of a head scratcher, being that they were one of the first ones to give the win to Joe Dementia November 4th. But come January 6th, you had Democrats go out of their way to compare this to Pearl Harbor, Vietnam, Korea, World War II, 9/11, Civil War. Yes, they compared it to all of these historical and factual losses of life, Americans' loss of life, of the thousands. We lost 58,000 in Vietnam, Americans, but yet January 6th is more important. It's worse than that. We lost 3,000 in 9/11, but no. January 6th is more important because it tried to destroy our democracy. Yes. So, with 2.5 million flooding illegally over the border, where you have the inflation at an all-time high, a 45-year high, which makes Jimmy Carter, look great. Food prices skyrocketing. You have gas prices hitting $5 a gallon. Of course, an economic and total foreign policy failure. Oh, I'm sorry, foreign policy. Oh, you mean that wonderful withdrawal in Afghanistan? Where we left $85 billion worth of equipment to, Islamo-Nazi over there. But again, facts. Come on, come on. It's all about feelings. And that is exactly what last night was. It was about feelings and nothing more. Whew, gives me chills. With that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next, and I will not cover the January 6th bullshit anymore. I didn't see it, don't care, don't give two fucks. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys, next time. Peace.